Okay, Brownie. Okay, Brownie. We're going to talk about Columbo now. Here you go. Go ahead. Good boy.
Hey! Welcome back to Alex and Constantine's Reviews.
Yes.
We're back for another ranking of
Season
Columbo.
6.
Season 6. Is it that time already, huh?
It's that time.
Okay. It only took 7 months, am I right?
Yeah, it's funny.
Anyways, let's
The door
go.
open.
Let's read our comment of the week before we start up.
What do you think about this season?
The season. Yes, the season was very good. It was definitely...
Okay, 3 being awesome, 4 being a bust. Where would you put this? Where would you put this one?
Season 6 overall was just it's a good season. I wouldn't say it's quite at the highs of season 3 was, but it's definitely not in the dumpster where season 4 was either, right? It's definitely it's up there somewhere.
It's a good season. Yeah, it's good stuff on there. Yeah, for sure.
Solid season.
Only 4 episodes.
Only 4 episodes, so it was nice, easy. Still took us 7 months to get around to filming.
Was it 7 months? Nah,
I think it was.
It feels like yesterday.
Just feels like yesterday.
Just feels like yesterday when I was in the Grove. Anyway,
Yeah.
Do we have should we look at a comment of the week?
I think we should.
Okay. Shall I read
There
it?
we go. Yes, sir.
All right. This comes to us from Ms. Joan Kavanaugh. Thank you very much, Joan, for watching us in the backyard doing Columbo reviews.
Oh, yeah.
Hi, guys. I would have had a hard time choosing between Forgotten Lady and Now You See Him Too. I love both those episodes. Yeah, those were great. I Forgotten Lady was awesome. And the only reason it wasn't number 1 is because Now You See Him was awesomer.
Yeah, Now You See Him was like probably one of the top 5 all-time Columbo episodes.
I would say so.
So good.
Ricardo Montalban does make a great villain. Yeah, he was very sinister. Can't wait for 6. And here we are for 6. Thank you very much, John.
Can't wait for 6. The wait is over. Anyways, I think it's about time we get into those rankings.
Okay, here we go. So, number 4. And it's interesting, this season, the first episode we thought was the least good, and going to the last episode, they went right in order.
They went right in order.
I thought we thought the first was the best, and the last was the worst.
We always start. Every time we have one of these episodes, we always start with like this. This season was super difficult to rank. That's every single episode until this one.
Yeah, this was the easiest to rank. Actually, it was very simple. All right, so Fate into Murder, and that is with Captain Kirk.
Captain Kirk.
What's his deal? Spawn.
So he plays a detective in Columbo. So basically, so he's an actor who plays a detective in the show Columbo. If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Okay, and he's being blackmailed by his agent.
She's a producer, agent, employer.
Yeah.
Whatever.
She's being blackmailed, and she gets half of the money, and that's why she keeps advocating that he gets paid more. So then, in turn, she gets paid more.
Yeah. So she has some dirt on him. I guess he was doing some maybe pornographic stuff. I don't know. She has some dirt on him, and basically she's pushed him into these roles. And this Detective Lucerne role is very lucrative. Everybody's making money, but he has to give half of his money to her, or else she turns him in and ruins his career. And she has to buy these silver certificates for her, and that's how. Anyway, but he doesn't want to be blackmailed for very long.
The old tried and true Columbo rule: if you get blackmailed, you're gonna get dead, basically every time.
Yes.
But so yeah, he tries to get that happening, and he invites his friend over to watch a nice old game of baseball, and he actually drugs him with his drink, puts him to sleep, and he tapes the baseball game, and then he dresses up as a robber, and then he shows up to this sandwich place, and with the owner. What did you think about the owner?
Oh yeah, I love that. I love that character. I don't think Alex liked him much, but he was so funny because this lady was really mean. The producer lady, she was really rotten. I mean, I'm not saying she deserves to kill, but she was really mean. And the guy who owned the deli, who got hit in the back of the head during the robbery, he's like, "Oh, she was the sweetest lady I've ever seen. What a soul she had." And it's so funny because that's the opposite. She's this mean woman, but he's like, "Oh, what a soul." But anyway, I thought that was funny. I just love that character.
It was funny. And so he's at the restaurant. He knocks out this sandwich guy.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Okay."
And she figured out it was him.
Yeah, she figured it out.
But
at that point, who cares, right? So she was like, just walk in a line. So
She says,
starts-
"I'm just leaving." So she walks out and he shoots her in the back. Yeah.
She falls, dies. He gets rid of all of his disguise, throws it all away, gets back to the house where this guy's still sleeping, like on, because he's still drugged, right? Still sleeping.
Yeah.
Wakes him up. After he changed all the clocks, right? He wakes him up, and he's like, "Oh man, I fell asleep." And he's like, "You best get to bed, buddy." And he rewinds the tape, so it's like only 10 minutes past.
Right, but he's gone for like an hour or something.
Yeah, he's gone for like an hour
Yeah,
at
or
least. And then he like puts him in bed, and then he sets his watch to the exact time that it was. Like he sets the watch back to the right time.
Right.
And
Little does he
then-
know that's what's gonna get him.
Yeah, and he's like, "Wow, look at me! I committed the perfect murder." Not so.
It wasn't so. So enter Detective Columbo, and so now you have the fake Detective Lucerne, who's a fake actor playing a fake detective in a fake Columbo universe, and you got the real fake detective, Peter Falk,
Real fake detective.
matching wits.
Matching wits.
And Lucerne is just trying to. He makes a mistake that all the Columbo murderers make. He talks too
They
much.
never stop talking. but it's this one is the worst one in my opinion with that sort of thing.
Yeah, you didn't
Because-
enjoy the too much talking, did you?
No, it was just because the whole episode was like, Columbo's like, well, what if it was like this? And then the guy who plays Detective Lucerne is like, well, actually, I think this is according to Detective Lucerne, which is me, by the way. I think it happened like this. And the detective's like, very cool. Let's have this same conversation like 30 more times throughout this whole episode. The whole episode just feels like filler with that one conversation.
Gotcha. Yeah. It was. I didn't mind it as much because I know that it's William Shatner and we all kind of grew up with him, but that's ultimately why this episode went so far down because it was kind of.
Yeah, there's just so much
And
dialogue.
it was a lot of dialogue, and it was just basically back and forth between Spock and Captain Kirk
Captain
and
Kirk and Columbo.
Columbo, and the other guy from another guy from Star Trek. They were just did a cameo in this show too, and you could Walter Koenig. I think you could tell he almost couldn't help himself from laughing so much.
And
But anyway,
what makes it worse is that if Detective Lucerne was actually like a canon detective in the universe, maybe,
Yeah.
and like it was actually a detective that committed the murder, like that one episode, like he was the chief of police, but anyway, it was something similar, and he was like an actual detective, it would make more sense. But he's
Yeah.
like an actor. He's an actor.
Yeah,
acting as
yeah.
Detective Lucerne in real time,
Right.
talking to Columbo,
Right.
the detective.
yeah. Like he has no standing.
He has no ground. Like
Yeah,
he
like,
reads off a script.
It's like me talking
like-
to some engineer about how I don't know how nuclear fission happens. I'm like, I don't know how it happens, but we're supposed to be equals. It's like, no, Columbo's a real detective and this guy's a
It's
real
like
actor.
if I played a scientist on TV or something.
You're not really a
That was,
scientist.
If I was just
like,
talking to a
let's
scientist
consult you.
as if we were equals.
Exactly. But that was the whole thing. That he just talked too much. He was trying, and they always give other explanations of.
Yeah.
Well, Columbo's like, well, yeah, but look at this, and he's like, whoa, well,
He's like,
that's
that's probably just a coincidence.
Yeah.
Anyways.
And he finally catches him because of the watch.
Just coincidence.
The guy that he had the baseball game with, he set his watch back to the exact time. But that guy always set his watch 5 or 10 minutes ahead.
Just so he's always on time.
And he happened to ask Columbo, hey, you got the time? And Columbo's like, yeah, it's 6 o'clock. He's like, oh man, my watch is up. I say 6. He goes, yeah, that's the time. He goes, no. I always set my watch set 10 minutes ahead. And the little light bulb went off in Columbo's.
The little light bulb.
You see it, the light bulb. He's like, ah.
Yeah. That's how we got him.
Yeah.
I mean, like all the Columbo episodes, it's not necessarily a bad episode.
Correct.
It's just so boring to me, at least. But
Bottom
yeah,
third
bottom third.
in the annals.
This
up
would
till
be
now.
this would be like this episode belongs in season 4.
Well, yeah. I mean, they all can't be perfect. But
Yeah.
Here we are. Okay. Anything else? What else what was the gotcha moment on this one? Was the 10 minutes?
It was really just the 10 minutes.
Yeah. But it was good. Whatever. It was cool. Anyway, old-fashioned murder.
Old-fashioned murder. Do you want to explain this one?
Yeah, there was a woman who is kind of like an old maid. She never got married, and she is the reason it's called old-fashioned murder is because she's always referred to as being old-fashioned by her family and friends. So she owns a museum with her brother. The museum's losing money. Her brother wants to sell it. She loves the museum. She does not want to sell, so she sets up a way. She hires this guy to go rob the museum and and that way she could claim some insurance money and keep the thing going. So she tells him. But however, when he comes in to rob the museum, she's there, and also her brother's there doing an inventory, and so she kills her brother and this guy and makes it look like they killed each other.
Yeah.
That's the setup.
That's the setup. And, I mean, this lady is just not, she's not a very good person. Like,
She's not very nice. Like,
no, she's not. Like, her niece,
loved her.
Her niece loved her so much, and she was willing to frame her for the murder that
That's
she committed.
right. At the end, Columbo got too close, and this lady was willing to throw her niece to the wolves. She set her up to make it look like she did the murders.
Yeah, they had this belt. They had this like 10,000-year-old belt buckle.
Yeah, it was a 1,000-year-old solid gold belt buckle.
And they like set it up in her room, and obviously the police searched everything, and then they found it. So she went to jail, or like she was just like in a holding cell or something.
Yeah.
And Columbo comes in with like snacks and like a magazine to like.
And this ashtray.
And this
cigarettes.
Ashtray with the cigarettes, and he puts on this belt buckle next to her. She starts using it as an ashtray. This like 1,000-year-old relic,
made
solid
of pure gold, yeah.
Pure gold, no reaction. She starts like throwing her cigarettes in it like it's nothing.
And then Columbo realized she doesn't
know what it is.
She didn't do it.
Yeah, yeah.
So he knew that it was the ant. The ant did it.
It was the
and
ant.
then the reason why we think the ant is not very nice is because her niece really loved her. Like you could tell she defended her to the end.
Yeah.
But she, in order to get out of being found guilty for this murder, the double murder, she was willing to frame her niece to take the fall for it. So she had a lot of resentment because
against her sister,
because her niece's mom stole her husband.
Yeah. So her niece might have been her
daughter. Like she looks at the daughter she never had.
Except she was willing to throw her in jail.
Yeah, and there's a big L moment at the end too,
Oh,
because the aunt is always saying, "I never leave a room without him being under a man's arm," or something like that.
Yeah.
And at the end, Columbo arrested her, and
yeah. So her sister is always was always the popular one, always getting what she wants,
Yeah.
at least in her eyes.
Yep.
And she always said like, "I would never leave in a room without a man's arm."
Yep.
And then, I guess the aunt was like. She was
after Columbo sprung the trap and
arresting
basically
her.
she's like so.
She's like, "Give me your arm, Columbo."
Yeah, so that was her big.
That was her big like, "Haha, look at
Gotcha.
you, sister. I'm better than you."
Yeah, but she's
I'm going
to jail. That was like the biggest cell phone I've ever seen.
It was like the dumbest thing ever.
It was a cell phone. I mean,
look at me. I'm on a man's arm. Go into jail.
And Columbo's like,
no more
right this
freedom.
way.
Yeah, no more freedom for me.
Yeah.
Take that, sister.
That was kind of silly. Anything else about this episode that we want to?
The thing is, it's a good episode, right? But it's just kind of forgetful.
Yeah, there's some episodes. I think we talked about another time. There's some episodes for me anyway, and maybe for Alex too. Like even you see the title, you don't know what it's about.
Yeah.
Right. Like you see any old port and storm, you're like, oh yeah, that's the thing with the wine and the Corsini and all that. This is one of those where you see the name, you're like an old-fashioned murder. Like, what was that about? What was that about? And then we have to look at the synopsis on Prime or something. Like, oh yeah, okay.
Oh, it's that one.
It's one of those. Still solid,
good,
fun,
middle
good
of
characters.
Sort of thing,
yeah, middle of the pack. I would say probably solid middle of the pack, all time.
Anyways, moving on.
Moving on to number 2, which was the Bye Bye
Sky High IQ murder case. Oh,
yep.
People at home, try to say that 5 times fast.
Yeah, try to say that 5 times.
The Bye Sky High IQ murder case.
Yeah. So this one, there's these 2 guys, Birdie and his buddy. I forgot his name, but anyway, they own this club for geniuses.
For geniuses.
It's a special club, and they also have like a law firm together or something. But the one guy is embezzling. His best friend and lifelong friend and business partner, Birdie, finds out that he's embezzling, and he confronts him and tells him, makes the cardinal error in Columbo.
Yeah.
Come Monday morning, I'm calling the police on you.
Wow, why would you ever do that?
Yeah,
seriously.
And he's like really small, and this guy's bigger, and I was like, why would you even do that?
You could really just call the police
just be like,
without telling him.
Yeah, no problem, I forgive you. And then on Monday, it's like, but anyway.
Yeah.
You wouldn't tell somebody who's dangerous. But anyway, whatever.
Whatever.
He did.
And he did. And
So
there's
this guy
big
created the Rube Goldberg machine.
Rube Goldberg machine. If you don't know what that is, it's basically like a domino effect, but with anything that's not a domino. It's literally a bunch of just random stuff you can put together to make like a contraption, basically.
Yeah.
It's actually really cool. And he sets it up to make it seem like. So what happens is he kills Birdie. No one notices because he had like loud
Silencer,
music.
I think, or something.
Silencer,
or loud music.
and there was loud
That's
music.
right. Mm-hmm.
And so he went downstairs, started partying with all these smart people.
But he started the machine.
Yeah, the Ruby Goldberg machine because of the Rude Goldberg machine because
the first part was the record player.
the record player
Right.
started it, and so like the machine made firecrackers go off and made this dictionary fall thump, making it sound like the body was falling.
Yep.
It caused a door to close too.
Yeah, door closed.
It was this cool contraption.
And I think footsteps, shoe steps too.
Something like that,
A lot.
yeah.
Yeah, it was cool.
It was just a lot.
Basically,
of
to
stuff.
make it look like the guy who did the murdering didn't do the murdering.
Yeah.
But he was downstairs with everybody
He was downstairs
else.
with everybody. How could he possibly commit the murder?
Exactly. So here's a murder done in a room full of geniuses. So, like, no, I won't even
Geniuses.
use the quotes. They were geniuses.
They
They were all smart people, smartest people in the world. We're told.
Yeah, we're told. And Columbo says the coolest thing he's
Oh,
ever
should we
said.
drop Columbo dropped the nuke.
Yeah.
Columbo dropped the nuke on all those people because he's in there trying to investigate this case, and he says, "I just realized something."
Yeah, he was like, huh. He was just like, I've been in this room filled with all the smartest people in the world, and I didn't even notice. Just like that.
That's like, do you understand what kind of a dig that is?
Yeah,
Like
seriously.
he just dropped the nuke on all of them. He's like, you guys are all a bunch of dummies. I'm like smarter than all of you.
I'm smarter than all of you.
Actually, the guy did give an IQ test. That was a
Yeah.
pretty cool problem he gave him. And so that's another. There's a whole lore and like a subtext in Columbo that he's not just his rumple jacket guy. He's actually a genius.
Yeah.
The character Columbo is a genius, and every episode somehow one of the murderer or the evil genius murderer is like, man, this guy's really smart.
Yeah.
And then the one in this case, he gave him the IQ test, and he goes, "What's your IQ, Columbo? You're really smart, actually."
Yeah.
Which is cool because I mean, he's our guy, and he's like, he's outwitting all these people, and so it's fun.
And it was cool because it was cool to see him interact with all the smart people. Like there was this one guy that was like, well, what if the gun was on like elastic band and it shot out the window?
He actually got it right up until that point.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then this one little girl that was like the youngest
That was
person
really
in
sweet,
the club.
I thought that's a nice part of Columbo.
Yeah.
Is that he's really a cool character because he's really nice.
Oh yeah.
Like he was that little girl came with her theory of what happened, and she was almost right. Like she almost got it right, and then Columbo's like, well, what did he tell her?
He was like, well, this part of the end probably couldn't happen because of this, or like it's too circumstantial.
And
or
she was
whatever.
kind of like sad, but he goes, no, you did good.
Yeah. She was like, oh no. He was like, that was really good thinking. Come to me if you have any more ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was like serious about it.
And that's the cool thing about his character, because he's like, this little kid's really smart.
Yeah.
She might actually crack the case for me. So he was really sweet the way he was talking to everyone.
Yeah. Tell me about the gotcha.
The gotcha, I didn't like. Okay, it's a good gotcha. The guy basically admitted it because Columbo, he had all the intricate Rube Goldberg machine, and Columbo said, "Well, then this is how he did this." And the guy's like, "No, are you kidding? That's idiotic. He did it this way." So
Yeah.
he just admitted
So he just
that
sells
it was
himself.
him. He just basically told on himself.
Yeah.
And I don't like those as much because it's not like like he had to be tricked into it, and you wouldn't be tricked into it. You'd be like, yeah, okay, whatever. Yeah, the guy who set it up was an idiot. Ha ha ha. I don't care. I'm out of jail.
Especially the guy with the sky high IQ.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But his pride. I think
It was his pride that struck him down. And that's
Correct.
the thing is, I think those sorts of gotchas where the guy like gives himself away could be done well because we've seen them be done well before.
And it was fine. It was fine.
You remember that one episode where there was the camera negatives?
Yes.
And the guy was like, well, if you just check the negatives, and Columbo was like, I destroyed the negatives, and and the guy's like, well, you just have to get the original camera, and he gets the original camera.
Out
and
of a
then
room full of
Columbo's like,
cameras.
did you see what he just did? Did you see what he just
Yeah,
said?
yeah.
That was one of the coolest endings.
It was a cell
in my
phone. Yeah,
opinion.
he incriminated himself.
And it's basically the same kind of ending, but just that one is written way better, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, that one was actually done a lot better. But I don't like when the whole case hinges on him messing up basically and admitting that he did it. So
Did you see what you just did? Yeah.
yeah. That's just it doesn't make it a bad episode.
No,
great episode.
Good
it's
episode.
fun.
Very good episode.
Great characters. I mean, his interaction with all these smart people is hilarious. Actually,
it's cool.
yeah, very cool. And you know, I just realized I'm in this room full of the smartest people in the world. And I didn't even know it.
Yeah. Anyways, we got up at number 1.
Let's move up to number 1, and that is the Try and Catch Me.
Try and Catch Me. So this old lady, she's like a mystery writer. Not the first time that's happened on this show, but
Yep.
she's a mystery writer, and she really thinks that this guy killed her niece
That's
because
right.
they were like fiancés.
Oh, speaking of which, why would a mystery writer be a good murderer?
Well, because they write the right murders all the time. I'm assuming that's what they're.
And they like know all the tricks and stuff.
I'm assuming they like because they have to write murderers all the time.
They have to write murders that can't be solved and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
That's what I'm assuming. And so she really thinks that this guy killed her niece, which
That's
they
right.
were like fiancés.
It's her niece's fiance.
Yeah.
Who's alive. Her niece had died, and she thinks that this guy did it.
Yeah, but what she does.
Does she tell him? Does she accuse him of doing it?
No. Well, I mean, kind of, but we'll get to that. What
No,
happens?
no, yeah.
What happens was she kind of basically kills him with kindness. She was like, she sets up her will, and he's like, well, you're going to get all of my money when I die. And then she also set up his will, coincidentally, for no reason. But, no reason, just I was already at the office.
Yeah, already
And
doing it.
she set up this thing where she's about to go out of town, so she was like, put these wills in my safe. So he starts putting the wills in the safe, and she's like, you killed my niece, and then she shuts the door.
Yes. Soundproof, bulletproof, fireproof,
Everything
safe,
proof.
like 6-inch thick metal.
Not Columbo proof, though.
That's
Anyway,
bang.
so she goes to her little trip to where she was going, and her assistant person found the guy dead in the safe.
That's right. She was while the writer was in New York. I love Columbo's entrance in this episode. Do you remember it?
How does it go? Yeah.
Okay, so this point of view from this killer. She comes back from her trip. She sees police officers, all these people in her house. She gets up to her room or her office where the safe is, and you don't. She's like looking around, and you just see on the corner, Columbo's coming out of the safe, and he's like, 5, 6, or he's like yelling really loudly as the safe opens.
Yeah.
To prove, like he was already on it, like
He was already.
this is soundproof safe. He was already like solving the case. Like
Yeah.
he comes out and he's like, he already knows, okay, this is a soundproof safe, so that's kind of, it's not suspicious, but it somebody could have been killed by being locked in here.
Yeah, for sure.
Like Columbo, right? That was the first thing he looked at. That was so cool. Like he's like, I wonder if this thing's soundproof, and he figured it out. It was, and then he built his case from there.
That episode has a lot of cool Columbo moments.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Columbo was definitely the highlight. I mean, he's always the highlight, but he was for sure epic in this one. He had this one speech where he was talking about murderers that he's faced in the past.
He went to her club where she was giving us a fan club. Her fan club got together, and he went there. He's investigating her, so he kind of wants to, that's how he does it. She calls him up and asks him to say a few words, right?
Yeah, because he's he's a real
And
detective.
what did you think? What did he say to them?
And he was like, he was just talking. He was like, I've faced many murderers in the past. He was like, there was some that I respected, not for what they did, but because of how they were like nice to him, and because they were just like genuinely really smart people.
They were in a bad
stuff
they
like
were in
that.
a bad
they were just in
position
a
or
bad
something.
spot. But like he wasn't like defending them for killing people, but he was like he respected them. Just
He
as
said
a
that
person.
it was actually interesting. He said not everybody who's really a bad person. Sometimes they're just in a circumstance, and he was very, and that's the Columbo character. He's actually very human. At the end of the day, he's really nice.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't enjoy. Like you've never seen him show any emotion or enjoy putting people in jail.
No, he never
Ever.
enjoys putting people in jail.
But sometimes, like in this lady, she was kind of asking for, when she realized that he was solving the case.
Yeah.
She goes, what would you give me a chance,
Would you let an old lady
Would
not
you
go to
let
jail
old
for
lady
killing
off the
somebody?
hook?
It's like, no, lady.
And he says,
That's not really how that works.
he goes, you have your job and you're really good at it, and I have my job.
Yeah.
And I have to do my job at the end of the day.
Speaking of Columbo doing his job, how did he find out? What was the gotcha?
the when they went to the apartment.
Yeah.
Oh, so he says, hey, he tells the lady, hey, why don't we take a field trip? It was the keys actually, the real end of gotcha. But that wasn't. But the most interesting part, she was really annoying. I don't think she was very nice. I didn't like her. I didn't like the character that much. I mean, the actress was fine, but I don't like she was really mean, I thought.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Columbo takes her to the niece's boyfriend's apartment, and and she had been telling Columbo, oh, they were in love, they were getting married, and they go and we're watching Columbo and her go through this apartment, and she's riddling him the whole time, like, oh, what is that, whatever, and like she's really kind of being I don't know, really.
Kind of a jerk about it.
Yeah, she's being a jerk about it, like kind of making fun of Columbo or whatever.
Yeah.
And then, so Columbo's done with his like he's gone all around the apartment, and she goes, "Well, why are we here?" Like annoyed. And he goes, "Well, you didn't see it? You didn't catch it?" And so as the audience, you're like, at that, you're like, "What?
Catch what?
Catch what?"
Yeah.
And he said, "No pictures."
It might genuinely be one of my favorite Columbo scenes.
It was cool
because I feel like most of the time, like what Columbo's looking for.
Yeah.
But for this one, you don't.
And you had a chance to play detective, and we had a chance to play detective.
Yeah.
And we missed it.
We couldn't do it.
I don't
We
know if
couldn't do
everybody-
it.
We didn't figure it out. I was like, oh,
We
wow.
couldn't do it.
The point was, if he loved her so much, and she's given him all her money because she loved he loved her niece. There's not one picture of her in his apartment.
Yeah.
Of his
Not a one.
Supposedly, heartbroken guy that his girlfriend died.
Yeah.
Not even one picture.
Not even one picture.
And it was kind of a nod to the lady, like, he's probably guilty. He probably killed your niece.
You usually know what's going on in Columbo, but you didn't. They left you in the dark. You were just as in the dark as the murderer was in that case.
Yeah.
It was good. That was a good scene.
It was a good scene, man. And I love the whole clues, because they had the piece of paper that was torn on both sides, but they didn't have the middle part.
Yeah.
And then the light's not working, and then Columbo's investigating. And he found this guy uses belt buckle to scratch all these markings on these drawers in the safe, and all he had was like a pack of matches and a belt buckle, and he basically drew an arrow.
Yeah,
up.
An arrow pointing up to this little light fixture that was broken. Like there was no light coming out of it.
Yeah, and the reason was because there was a little piece of paper stuffed in it.
He had a piece of paper in there, and the piece of paper was like the title page or something of an early print of a book.
The name of her book is The Night
I Was Murdered.
Yeah.
That's what the name of the book was. And then of course there's a little awful author title and it was like by whatever her name was, right?
Yeah.
And it was, what he did is he used his like little matches, like the black spots of his matches, and he
And remember, she was when Columbo was doing showing like we found a book of matches. She goes, "Oh, the poor dear. Do you think he was trying to look at the other side?" Like she was making fun of his plight. Like really not nice,
Yeah. He's like, a message from the grave. And it's like, God, lady, this guy just died.
Yeah, he just died. Supposedly,
in your house.
Supposedly you have a will to him. You know, you're willing your stuff to him. So,
and, so what happened was that he marked out the night. So it was just, I was murdered, and then by
the author. Yeah.
And that's like an after-death testimony. Columbo was like, "That's viable in court. You're going to jail." And it was.
That's right.
Can you spare an old lady? And he was like, "No." Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, a good episode for
good
sure. Good
very
episode.
memorable. Good episode. Yeah, fun. I enjoy. I really like that one. I like the lawyer. I like. Oh, and her assistant, by the way, the lady, found the keys because when she murdered her niece's fiance. He left his keys out of the safe. Which would be like, how would that happen?
Yeah, oh yeah. How would that happen?
Yeah,
so she had to quickly be like,
and then she had him, and her assistant found him and blackmailed her and said, well, you should give me a raise, and I'm going on your cruise with you, and we're going to spend a lot of time together. And she didn't die in this one.
She didn't die.
They broke the rule. Yeah.
Very rare time.
She actually
they broke
blackmailed.
The Columbo rule.
But if given her more time, she probably would have killed her eventually.
Yeah, probably.
Murderers are.
Well, yeah.
Anyway,
Good
I think we got it all.
Good episode. A very good episode to end a good season.
Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah. Overall, I would definitely say that this one was probably not as good as 5, but not bad at all. It's very good. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. 11-4 as a season. Good
Well,
stuff. So we're going to wrap it up. Thank
wrap
you
it
very
up.
much, everybody.
Thank
And
you again
we'll
for
get
watching.
back to work to look
Do
at
season 7. We're getting
Yeah.
pretty high up there.
And after that, pretty soon we have like a bunch of TV movies. So maybe we'll package them up like 4 or 5 at a
Yeah,
time,
that's
and
probably
we'll do
overrated.
something like that. Because there's like some years they just came out with one movie and that was it. Anyway, so
We can't really
That's
rank
it.
one. So, well, I'll see you guys in 2025 for season 7 ranking.
I know. Hopefully soon. No, hopefully sooner than that.
Yeah, hopefully sooner than that.
Sooner. Thank
All right.
you, everybody.
See ya.
Bye.